What is up, everyone?
What's
Welcome
up?
to Meme Ranch. It's been a couple of weeks, but we're back here with a special Meme Ranch report where we're talking about all of the strange events happening over the last 5 days or so, where there seems to be a pattern, at least some people online would say, of leftist violence on the rise. Now, this is something that I normally don't really look into that much, but in the last several days, we have seen, first of all, everyone's talking about it, the UHC murder from the now suspected uh, Luigi Mangione, if I'm saying that right? Mangione.
The healthcare CEO suspect.
Yes, of course. We are just getting loads and loads of information pouring out today. We have some videos to show you here in a minute. So we have this incident, and there's people debating right now. It's like whether he's a lefty or not, whether he's an MK Ultra normie that just got brainwashed into doing this type of thing. But we know that there are patterns and signs being exhibited right now that generally trend toward leftist causes. Secondly, we have just yesterday on Monday the acquittal of Daniel Penny in the subway killing of Jordan Neely. That's his name. I almost forgot about it. We're seeing BLM activists standing up, basically calling for their own sort of just retribution, whatever that might entail. Doesn't sound very fun. Uh, you know, very thinly veiled threats, you might call it. And finally, tonight we have news out of the U.S. Capitol of Nancy Mace claiming that she was accosted, potentially even hurt by some trans activists who are upset over her bathroom objections. That is her objections to, uh, you know, natural born males entering the women's restroom. So all that together, we have the FBI director, Chris Wray, signaling, or at least maybe according to some reports, hinting that he might be stepping down. And what do we need? Who do we need in the FBI, Xvala?
Is it cash?
Cash money?
Cash money.
Cash
We
money
need, we need
Patel.
some big cash. Cash is king. Cash is king in the FBI.
Yeah. So we have a full report planned for you guys over the next 30 minutes to an hour. So if you are watching this, please give it a like. Please give us a sub and tune in for the next half hour or so as we go into all the details of this. Where should we start? I mean, there was a video today.
Start by going to memeranch.com and checking out the awesome stuff there.
Yeah, go to our website, type in memeranch.com. Find us on socials at memeranch.com. That is a very easy handle to remember, is it
What do you
not?
think is the most breaking thing at this moment? Is it the FBI announcement, Christopher Wray saying sayonara? Because
Yeah, I
cash
mean,
is coming in?
I think we can kind of maybe start there a little bit. Let me duplicate this Twitter tab and get this.
Or whatever you have pulled up, we can start. It's all
Yeah,
good.
let's talk about Chris Wray over the last hour. Um, there was a report today in the Washington Times that first talked about this, and DC Drano. A lot of people like this account. He's a good one to
It's a good
follow.
account.
He right now is, and I have all these tabs pulled up, but they're not. Hang on. Here we go. We have DC Drano saying FBI. Can you see that? FBI Director Chris Wray expected to resign on or before Trump's inauguration after raiding his house and indicting him. He tried to stop Trump, but failed. Now the hunters become the hunted after weaponizing our justice system. He's citing a report from the Western Journal. I'm not sure if this is going with the Washington Times that reported this, but nevertheless, we have definitely an interesting pattern here with all this leftist violence, and now Chris Wray is looking like he's not going to be here by the time Trump gets into office. So that's all interesting in the last hour or so, or the last day. But what we've seen over the past day is also really interesting, specifically with Luigi, the suspected killer of the UHC CEO. Because people out there are saying a couple of different things. Like I see conservatives, a lot of them, who think that this may not be the actual guy. Everyone's talking about this weird jacket, discrepancy. How he's not wearing the same jacket in some of the evidence photos that they put out there. And I don't know, but this is what the suspect today had to say as he was being hauled off into
Yeah,
the
he's screaming at the cameras.
Down.
Oh my God! And it's completely out of touch. And the insult to the intelligence of the American people and the lived experience.
I really couldn't make that out. Did you?
He seemed to say at the
So
top.
all of he said complete. I think Brett Baer summarizes it here.
At the top of that, this is extremely unjust as well, and that this is an insult to the intelligence of the American people.
Yeah, he's basically saying this is unjust and an insult to the intelligence of the American people, and something about lived experience. He said the phrase "lived experience," which to me just completely is like a dead giveaway. Like no one uses lived experience unless they are some sort of college lefty.
I got that in my I got that in my comments today. School of Life.
Oh yeah, what they say?
No, School of Life. Remember, she said School of Life. Same damn thing.
Yeah, it's true. School of lived experience. That's the woke. Because like I used to know boomers, some of them conservative on Facebook. They would like have in their bios like graduated from the School of Life and like Hard Knocks or something like that. And it's been used by both sides, but I think this whole like lived experience thing is kind of, we've heard that one before over and over again.
It's
but
just
yeah, I
people
mean,
saying I'm a victim.
yeah, totally. That's what it means. We do have the manifesto here that Ken Klippenstein was able to obtain. There was a fake one that was going around, but this is apparently the real one, according to Ken, who I guess we're trusting on this. But yeah, I mean, it's a very TLDR manifesto, definitely not a Charles Manson, multi-page manifesto.
Unabomber.
Yeah, I mean, it's very. Oh yeah, what up, former artist? Welcome back. We're deep diving into all this. Let me know in the comments if you guys want to see a video specifically about the ghost gun element of this whole story, because I am so fascinated by the ghost gun element. I write a lot about ghost guns. I think they're
You're breaking news to me. I didn't know there was a ghost gun element.
Yeah, so there is a perception online that I've seen, at least, that I don't know if they've posted the photos yet of the weapon. They might have, but at least part of the gun is believed to be have been made using a 3D printer.
That's confirmed. I mean, they've recovered the weapon.
I think that right now is what people are saying, is that let me type in ghost gun. I can't remember I don't want to misquote the exact reason why people are saying he was likely killed with a ghost gun. But oh yeah, it's police authorities are saying that it was likely a ghost gun.
Well, it doesn't really matter if you get your face shown.
Yeah, exactly. Like all this like serialized, like numbers and stuff like that. Like I don't want to get into the whole ghost gun debate, but I do think that it is a First Amendment issue. And I'm not mistaken. I did say First Amendment, but I think a lot of people who understand ghost guns know that. So I'm not trying to beat a dead horse.
Yeah, the gun is literally code, which is an expression of thought.
Yeah, so I agree. I think that the ghost gun element does make the story particularly glow. A lot of people see the glowiness from just the inconsistencies in some of the photos that we've seen so far that maybe appear to show like a second person, and that the narrative there would be that Luigi was framed or put up to it, or like sacrificed in some way. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot to go into this. The guy they've arrested has a unibrow, and the shooter in the video does have two distinct eyebrows. Yeah, this is a point that I'm being open to. But for me, frankly, I just think that like all that like evidence.
That's why I'm calling him a suspect also, because we don't really know.
all that being observable, pretty much like almost immediately. The fact that everyone was so easy to like raise questions about that. It's either like a really poorly botched, execution of whatever this might be, or we're just kind of looking into it a little bit too hard. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not trying to be Mr. Naive over here, but like I do think that there's a chance that there could be just like, irregularities in the photos. Like how do you know that the photo doesn't show like the same pockets? Like I was looking at that photo, I'm like, it's kind of blurry. Like I can't really tell. Yeah, but it looks like his eyebrows could grow in like 3 days because of all that Albanian heritage. Because he's Albanian, not Italian.
Maybe he had the Inspector Clouseau disguise kit and just filled it in with the extra eyebrow. Who knows?
The Albanian named Luigi. It's all adding up now. It's all adding up. Well, okay, so we talked a little bit about that. I'm curious, what people who know their way around the law are thinking about this. And by that, I mean, there's been a lot of talk about this case from Mr. Robert Guevara. I like him.
I've seen some of it.
The mystery murderer remains on the loose. Ammunition found near the executive's body had the words delay, deny, depose, mimicking a phrase that you might use in the law. We're also trying to make sure that these items are the same. Remember, the straps was a big component of the images that we were analyzing.
The mission of this company is truly to make sure that we help the system improve by helping the experience of individuals get better and better.
NYPD releases new photos of the CEO assassin, and this photo is interesting because he's looking right at the camera, almost like one of those scenes in a movie where they break the fourth wall and they're talking to somebody, and they go, kind of has that vibe to it, right? And that was one image. This was another one that they released as he was getting in or out of a cab, and this is curious. These photos come after these two photos came out, and we were speculating that these photos were interesting because the jacket is clearly different than what the person who fired the shots on the day of the shooting was wearing, but this could have been just from a different day, and the shooter's wearing the same style, right? He's wearing jackets and hoodies everywhere he goes with a face mask everywhere he goes. The day of the shooting just happened to be a different jacket, but the same person. Now there's also more because they also found a backpack that he dropped, and the backpack was filled with Monopoly money, so that backpack that he threw in Central Park.
I just want to point out a Syria discussion would be great too. I've been looking so much into that conflict, and I honestly have some thoughts on it that I'd love to dish out. I mean, there's a lot to unpack. I'm actually I have friends who are hopium about the new regime that's gonna take fold there, but at the same time, I kind of
You mean the two new regimes?
The two new, yeah,
Israel.
Yeah, exactly.
Israel's claiming part of Syria now, so that's one regime,
right?
And then you have the insurgents, I guess you would call them, or the CIA, the second regime. Maybe that's one regime. I don't know.
I see a shiny new pipeline in our future.
I think the timing's interesting on Syria because obviously Russia and Iraq and Iran weren't going to get involved at this moment.
Let's go, former artists. I agree 100%, man. It is a shame. It is a shame that our boy is gone, but we had to swallow that pill. I was a believer to the last minute. I was like, there's no way they're going to do freaking Afghanistan again like this.
Oh yeah, they will.
But it was a good I guess it was a good foreshadowing because I guess we had nothing else to expect except the same outcome.
when did the shooter happen here? I mean, I don't want to get conspiratorial, but maybe some things happen here. The timing is a good distraction for things that we should be paying attention to. Like he said, he brought that up. Maybe things get blown up in the media even because it's a nice distraction for something bigger, more important.
Yeah, because now it's like every leftist and their mother is just kind of like going off like about how this guy is just like a hero in their minds and stuff like that. And it's so grating. It's like I think that Rittenhouse and Daniel Penny are different cases, But at the same time, what happened was the conservatives, righteously so, got, overzealous about, their gratitude in those types of cases. And the leftists naturally create false equivalencies, and they're like, "Oh, this is like our guy, like this is our guy," and it's just like, no. But at the same time, I don't fault you for doing so, because you needed a little defendant to like relate to and make your whole personality, didn't you? Like, you needed a little home slice. But then
excited that I would
instead, you just kind of wind up sounding like this.
excited that I would be guzzling buckets of their cum.
I think that
I would let them jack off in my mouth because I'm so excited about what they did. Excited that I would be.
Oh my.
Yeah.
He kind of
You just-
laughed when that happened.
You're just Sam Sater out here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was so surprised he got off too, man. It's a miracle. Like
I thought that was done.
yeah,
I'm shocked.
Well, let's start talking about Penny a little bit, because we mentioned this is kind of the second component to our thesis of this rise in left-wing violence. And I guess I'll just play kind of like the big viral clip. We'll also play the Penny interview itself, at least a portion of it, of the Judge Janine clip that has been going around. But let's get to what was said yesterday, right after the verdict came down from this BLM activist. Oh, wait.
You got
We
that?
need some black vigilantes.
He's saying we need some black
Just like
vigilantes.
everybody else has vigilantes, we need some black vigilantes.
That's right.
People want to jump up and choke us and kill us for being loud. How about we do the same when they attempt to oppress us?
Right.
I'm tired.
Tired.
I know you're looking for us to be like, oh, go and march. Go and march. No. This weekend, I want you to hold a community event everywhere from the Bronx to Houston to Seattle to Florida. Black people hold community events and talk about what you need. Just like everybody else has vigilantes.
Yeah, so former artist is cooking tonight. I mean, it really was a sign of restoration of faith in the trial by your peers, system that we have in this nation. I mean, of course, the jury got it wrong in the Trump hush money case, but that's because they were basically had the wool pulled over their eyes, and they were told to, believe Trump's former lawyer, who put on a pretty, like sob story case, and tried to be very emotionally appealing. I mean, the dude is on TikTok every night, getting turkeys put on his head. I'm talking about Michael Cohen. It's.
I think maybe the Trump win turned the tide on the Penny case, possibly, because it acted as a moment to bring the country together and say, wait a minute, we need to like flip the road we've been going down and go down a more just road. Maybe this is a sign things are going to be a little different.
Yeah, I mean, I think Megyn Kelly had a good monologue too. We can pull that up real quick. Let's see what she had to say.
Some are describing him as the victim. He wasn't the victim. He was the aggressor. He was the criminal on that subway car that day, who was seriously threatening other passengers. He had a long history of hurting them. And somebody on his side yelled out in the courtroom, "It's a racist country. Hello, madam or sir, that's not working anymore. You're going to have to find a new line." I don't know what it's going to be, but the BLM era is officially over. It's over. You had us in some sort of weird, psychotic headspin for 4 or 5 years, and it's done. Trump's reelected, and Daniel Penny is acquitted.
How about since
in
2008?
one of the most leftist jurisdictions in America, despite the fact that he is white and Jordan Neely was black. And they're still yelling, "It's a racist country, you fools. You absolute fools. And by the way, it's not just someone over on Jordan Neely's side. We had news coming into today that the outgoing chair of the DNC said his party is insane if they think the message of this election was to rethink identity politics. Double down, sir. Triple down. Quadruple. Do it. Enjoy oblivion. Enjoy your desert island where you have no one applauding anything you say and certainly no one voting for you. I look forward to watching you there. CNN reports that Neely's father also had to be escorted from the courtroom after shouting an expletive. Where was he? Where was he when Jordan Neely had dozens of arrests over the years? When he was punching 67-year-old women in the face? Where was the grieving dad then? I'm not sure. Now he's suing Daniel Penny. Oh, okay. You're going to get your money. Now you're totally behind your son. I don't feel sorry for you. I don't. Sorry, I don't.
What money is he going to get from Penny? Penny doesn't have any money.
I don't know. I covered that civil suit the other day, and I just thought I kind of highlighted it because it was like a distraction right before the jury came to their decision. But Megyn Kelly is death faker Nicole Brown Simpson. That's a good one. Oh man. But yeah, no, so this we haven't, I don't think we have the full interview yet of Penny, but here's like the preview clip of his interview.
I mean, I'm not a confrontational person. I don't really extend myself. And like this type of thing is very uncomfortable. All this attention and limelight is very uncomfortable. And I would prefer without it. I didn't want any type of attention or praise, and I still don't. The guilt I would have felt if someone did get hurt, if he did do what he was threatening to do, would never be able to live with myself. And I'll take 1 million court appearances and people calling me names and people hating me just to keep one of those people from getting hurt or killed. I mean, I'm not a confrontational person. I don't really extend myself. And like this type of thing is
yeah, sorry about that. But yeah, because he like, okay, we're gonna look up Nicole Brown Simpson.
That's O.J. Simpson's ex-wife, murdered wife.
I know, but I'm just trying to look and see like the comparison between her and Megyn Kelly.
They're just blonde, skinny blonde girls.
Yeah, I see it in the bone structure of the face, especially before Megyn Kelly had like all of her like touch ups and stuff done on work on her face.
Touch ups. That's beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, I did a little monologue today. I thought that the rise of sympathy for Luigi, I think, is a outgrowth or response from the left who keeps failing to have well, it's obvious why this is the case is because nobody, justified or righteous on the left is being like falsely, attacked and prosecuted and things like that because they have a security blanket on them. So I think that from the spectator level of someone on the left, they're seeing these people on the right who are like Kyle Rittenhouse or Penny, and they think to themselves, wow, like all these Republicans have people they can point to in court who are facing sham charges and prosecutions, but we don't have anyone on our side who we can relate to in that capacity. So we have to choose somebody who, if they're actually guilty of doing what they've done, we're having to find ways to justify someone's murder. A father, a working class man who spent 2 decades trying to become a CEO of a large company, having to celebrate that person's murder by someone who is basically a trust fund kid who went to school and blew his entire education and future by doing this selfish act. So I think that is the downside to having good men like Daniel Penny and Rittenhouse in the news, is that it kind of forces there to be like this like equal and opposite, even though it's not equal and opposite. It is opposite in the sense that it should be evil and opposite, or opposite and evil, however you want to say it. I don't think that this suspect who killed UHC, if this is the guy, if it's not like some framing incident, there's no way anyone in the future, regardless of how emotions are right now, people will be able to justify what he did. He didn't stop the healthcare industry from doing these predatory practices. He just created a mess.
I would bet that the glows in the dark. I would bet that these CEOs are very Democrat minded. Like, I bet they support the Democrat ticket, because that's where the alliance and allegiance is in big business.
Mm-hmm.
Is with the Democrat side of the politics.
Right. Totally.
So these guys probably voted for the same people.
I wanted to pull up Nancy Mace's. This is sort of our trifecta of points here that we wanted to raise. Is that tonight, this probably hasn't even been reported that widely yet. I'm sure it's just getting out there. Nancy Mace says, "I was physically accosted tonight on Capitol grounds over my fight to protect women's bathrooms. Capitol Police have arrested him. All the violence and threats keep proving our point." And here she is talking about all the violence and threats. That's what we're facing right now. "Women deserve to be safe. Your threats will not stop my fight for women." And what is she talking about, or who are these people that have been inside the Capitol? Well, here's not we don't know if any of these people were the ones who accosted her, but
probably different people.
We have a little bit of a window into what people have been doing in the Capitol now.
Being in the neighborhood. Where's my jewelry?
These men,
some of them are. What's the thread say, Galen? The actual thread says something about.
This is a protest staged by trans activists yesterday at the Capitol involving trans, non-binary, and cis people dancing in the women's restroom.
Trans activists. So
trans activists, yeah.
Probably some guys that are girls. And girls that are guys.
This all stems from that new transgender House of Representatives lawmaker who's going to be in the next Congress. And Mike Johnson, I believe he made clear that the rules state that you have to go into the bathroom of your gender, of your biological sex, and
because of science.
Yeah, because that's how it should be. And guess what? I've been in the Capitol many times. They have family bathrooms that have they're like the single bathrooms that you go into and you lock the door.
Right.
It's like that solves the problem, so it's like anyone who, I know I realize you're not going to change people's ways, especially if they're an adult. So the way that you handle that is just say, just go to the family bathroom. Just use those personal one size fits all, or all size fit, all parts fit in, types of bathrooms. Anyways, yeah. So those three things I think are showing us that there are these isolated trends right now of left-wing violence. It makes me interested to see what Inauguration Day might bring whenever we get there, because we're still like we're saying, like a former artist was saying, Trump's not president yet, but we're already starting to see some of the windfall of what a Trump presidency would bring, which is falling gas prices in California. And a lot of it is just anticipation for, the better economy that all the
Well, the
Fortune 500.
anticipation of possibly peace overseas in
Mhm.
Europe and in the Middle East. I mean, you're seeing all these things happen because they know once the new sheriff gets in town, all the little antics are going to probably stop. So it's like grab the cheese while you can.
Right. Yeah, totally.
Like Syria, like all this stuff that's happening, just all of a sudden out of nowhere, boom. Israel going into Syria, that kind of nonsense.
Mhm. Yeah, I think that, you know, I don't know what's gonna happen, but I am put a little bit at ease by verdicts like the ones that we saw on Monday with Daniel Penny, and I think that a broader portion of the country is waking up to the trance that we've been all put into over the last 4 years, and there's people who have been outright brainwashed, and there's people who have been facing the pressure, people who have principles but still have to fight every day against these pervasive cultural threats. So that's pretty much all I have to really say on that. I don't want to beat a dead horse,
No, I
but
think it's good.
I think that we can kind of close it out here. We said we'd be going for about 30 minutes, but let's talk more about the Luigi case, Mangione, and let's talk more about ghost guns, in the future here soon on the ranch, because I think that there is an interesting free speech case to be made. You can do everything you can to ban parts, unserialized parts from being sold for weapons and things like that. But you can't really legislate what types of files, like CAD files, can be sent over to somebody. Like if I were to send you a CAD file for for like the handle portion of like a Glock or a gun or something like that, I wouldn't be committing any crimes doing that. Now perhaps, I might be aiding it and abetting, and police might say I have some knowledge that I'm doing that, uh, and that becomes a different story. But if you're just transferring files for gun parts, like there's never going to be any any way to constitutionally, I think, prevent people from doing that.
It'll
You,
be attempted.
it'll be attempted, but I think that at the end of the day, the only thing that the government can do is say if you create these parts, then you need to fill out a federal form, which a lot of people still have problems with, but at least it's giving people an option to be in compliance and still be able to make their own guns at home. Uh, and just like if they went out and bought a gun at a store, they would probably have a serial number. They would have a serial number on that gun. So it's kind of like,
But should they?
I think that, it's, I mean,
No.
well,
No.
I don't like it, but it is kind of just what it is, like.
I think the idea, the time has come to look at the First Amendment and the Second Amendment as one. This is the new,
Yes.
this is the edge. This is the frontier. And I think with an open mind, understanding what information really is in the material world, especially with the technology we have or soon to have, it's going to be very hard to make an argument that owning a gun and owning the idea of a gun are any different, or talking about a gun, or exchanging information about a gun.
Well said. Yeah.
So this is the edge of the frontier we're heading into, and we'll see where it leads, but it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, a lot of people do have some concerns about Trump and guns just because of the bump stock ban that he did after the Las Vegas shooting. He says take the guns, then go to court about it. Can you decipher what he meant by that? I think what he's trying to say is like, legislate and then litigate, kind of, right?
I think we're in a new era. That's all I'm saying. So like these things that have been said in the past, that's in the past. We're about to have new discussions.
Right. If this gun, if it just happens to be that this gun that Mangione used was entirely 3D printed, because you can make 3D suppressors. If it was entirely 3D printed, then there's going to be an all out assault on Second Amendment rights.
First Amendment.
First Amendment and Second Amendment rights, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Because the argument on the left, coming from the left, will be they will tie the First Amendment into this. They do not want these files being shared.
Yeah.
Makes you think this was all a setup to go after it.
There's a Supreme Court case right now about Biden's ghost gun law, which is basically about like selling like buy build shoot kits essentially. And I understand if you're selling a kit commercially, if you're selling kits that are 3D printed, then I think that if other gun dealers are required to sell, if other gun dealers are required to sell guns with serial numbers on them right now as it stands, if it doesn't matter the state, then I think that is kind of where we're kind of heading, where we're gonna start to see like, okay, 3D printed, as long as you put a serial number on it and like register it with the ATF. That's going to be probably the happy medium, quote unquote, they're going to try to do. But the other side is just going to outright say, arrest anyone who ever prints these types of parts. And that's going to be the evil that will try to, really get a lot of people arrested and thrown in prison. Because I don't own a 3D printer. I don't own any guns, but I support a lot of people that do. And so I just want them to be able to have their freedoms. So we'll leave it at that. And we'll read one last comment from former artist because he's been such a G tonight. A 100% 3D printed firearm only shoots one bullet and then it's finished. Most talk about ghost guns is about 3D printed lower receivers. That's true. Yes, I agree. You always basically have to have a metal top part. I'm terrible at gun part, names and things like that. But mostly the lower receivers, like former artist is saying, are the parts that are 3D printed. So that means that the frame, it's the frame, yeah. I think the frame is the top part.
Depending on the gun.
Isn't that right, former artist? It's the frame. It's usually the metal part, and then like if you want to 3D print the rest, you get like a plastic receiver or something like that. I think that's how it goes. I don't know, but I just learned that 3D printed silencers are a thing. So that, I mean, honestly, that sounds pretty cool to me. Like being able to like make your own suppressors, like that's.
I mean, over 10 years ago, Cody Wilson did the whole job. So it can be done without any metal parts. Maybe a spring. There might be a spring that's metal, but maybe a couple other pieces, a coil. I'm not sure, but everything else is 3D printed.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously,
close enough.
Right.
Yeah, like we're not a gun YouTube channel, but I would be interested in maybe getting like a gun expert on to talk about it, because I always like talking to gun experts. They're some of the best people that I've ever had the chance to interview. So we'll leave it at that tonight. Thank you, former artist, and everyone else who was too shy to comment. We did have a lot of people in here tonight, so thank you guys for joining us on X and Kick and YouTube. And let us know what you want us to talk about next. And as always, don't forget to subscribe, check out our channel, check out our gold MAGA hat that we're still trying to get into the hands of Donald Trump. We're making very good headway on that. as far as the communication goes. So
Hopefully soon. Hopefully soon.
Yeah, we're trying to plan when is the best time to try to get the gold hat into his hands. So
check out memeranch.com across the web, and maybe even come by.
Yeah.
We're in Oklahoma City.
All right. Take care, everyone. Love
Later.
you. See you next time.